Story 1. My daughter abandoned me while I was fighting cancer. 2 years later, she came back thinking I was dead. I'm 56 years old. 7 months ago, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. It was caught during a routine screening, and thankfully, it was still in the early stages. Despite the doctors being optimistic, I was devastated. No one hears the word cancer and feels calm. I went home and told my daughter, Hannah. She was shocked, just like I was. I have no one else but her. She has no one else but me. Her mother is alive, but to both of us, she doesn't exist. Hannah is 22. I raised her alone after her mom left us when she was 8. My ex-wife and I split on mutual terms, no drama. She moved to Atlanta with her boyfriend, and I got full custody. Hannah was always a difficult kid. She took the divorce hard, blamed her mom for leaving, and never spoke to her again. Not once. Never picked up a single call. I did my best to fill the hole that was left behind. I tried to be both parents. I thought I was doing okay. But now, looking back, I wonder where I went wrong. When I told Hannah I had cancer, she cried. We hugged. We talked about how much we loved each other, reminisced about her graduation, our hiking trips, and the little traditions we had. She promised she'd take care of me. I believed her. She stayed for 7 months. And then she was gone. Packed up and left. Like I was some piece of trash. I didn't expect her to do the hard stuff. I had a nurse for that. The nurse helped me with all the day-to-day tasks. All I needed from Hannah was her presence. Her company. Her love. That's all. The doctor told me I needed to reduce my work or quit altogether because treatment was going to be brutal, physically and emotionally. My boss was understanding and said I'd always have a job when I recovered. So I quit. I had no financial problems. The mortgage was long paid off. Hannah's education was covered. I had savings, investments I could liquidate if needed. I wasn't worried about money. I was hopeful. Hannah took me to my chemo appointments. I can't even describe how exhausting those sessions were. I'd be wiped for days. Sometimes, I couldn't even move. I got a wheelchair just to get around the house. Even transferring into it was a struggle. My body felt like it was disintegrating. I needed her to help me with simple things, bringing food, handing me my meds. At first, she did. Then she started pulling away. Stopped coming into my room. Gave one-word answers. It hurt more than the treatment. She was the only person I had. Our little chats were the only things that kept me from sinking into despair. But she was drifting. I confronted her gently, asked if she felt like I was a burden. She exploded. Screamed, yes. Said she was tired of taking care of me. I understood. She's young. Being around sickness is hard. I told her I'd bring in full-time help. I got a nurse specialized in oncology care. Thought it would fix everything. It didn't. She hated the nurse. Treated her like garbage. I told the nurse to avoid Hannah if possible, but Hannah still found ways to insult her. Said she was dirty. That she shouldn't touch our fridge. That she shouldn't enter the kitchen. All indirect jabs, never to her face. It was pure malice. Eventually, the nurse asked me if she was doing something wrong. I reassured her she was doing great. That night, I confronted Hannah again. Asked her to leave the nurse alone. She lost it. She screamed that the nurse smelled bad. That I was choosing her over my own daughter. I snapped. Told her, she's a professional. She knows more about hygiene than you ever will. Who are you to judge? You dropped out of school. That set her off. She went on a 10-minute rant. Blamed me for everything, her childhood, her mom leaving, her life falling apart. Said I ruined her. I'd heard it all before. But then she crossed a line. She called the nurse disgusting, manipulative, and then said, I know why you're defending her. Did she make you her sugar daddy? Said the nurse was trying to seduce me for my assets. That I was an easy target because I had no heirs. I told her to get out. She slammed the door. An hour later, I heard her dragging suitcases. I'm leaving. You can die with your little girlfriend. Blow all your money on her, I don't care. And don't expect me to come running when you're on your deathbed. I sat by the window and watched her shove her bags in the car and drive away. I didn't stop her. It's been weeks. I feel like a failure. Not because of the cancer, but because of what she said. Because of what she believed. That I'd hook up with a nurse while dying. That I'd betray her. That I was disposable. I wanted to stop treatment. I was done. But the nurse, the doctors, and eventually, a therapist pulled me out of it. The therapist let me sob like a child. It helped. I told her I didn't want to fight anymore. She told me I had a choice. And I chose to live. I offered the nurse double pay to stay on full-time. She already knew my case and was a godsend. I didn't want to start over with someone new. And guess what? I beat cancer. Chemo's over. I'm officially in remission. And I'm not going back to the man I was before. I gave up everything for my daughter. I never dated seriously because I thought it would hurt her. I stayed single, lived carefully, and centered my entire life around her. She left me like I was trash. So I'm done. I sold the house. Moved in with someone I met online. Her name's Sarah. She's in her early 50s, kind, smart, and has been through her own heartbreak. Her husband cheated on her for years. She left, raised their daughter alone, and finally gave dating another shot. We clicked instantly. She has a lovely home, warm, artistic, full of life. Mine? Cold. Old. Full of painful memories. Selling it felt like shedding dead skin. A few months after I moved in with Sarah, I got a call from Andy, the guy who bought my house. He was furious. Said a woman tried to break into the house, started pounding on the door, screaming at his girlfriend. Said she claimed it was her dad's house and accused his girlfriend of sleeping with an old dying man to steal it. It was Hannah. She thought I was dead. When I showed up, she froze. Said, "You're alive?" I said, "Very." And I sold the house. She demanded to know what I did with the money. "You're dying anyway," she said. I laughed. Told her, "Nope. I'm not dying. And every cent? I'm spending it on myself." She started crying. Told her friends to leave so she could talk to me alone. I told Andy if she ever shows up again, to call the cops. She ran after me, crying, "Dad, don't do this. I'm your daughter. I'm your only family." I turned and said, "Exactly how you left me. Alone." Then I drove away. And for the first time in years, I felt free. Thank you to everyone who read and supported me. This post got way more attention than I ever expected. I just wanted to vent. To feel less alone. And I did. I'm finally living for myself. Story 2, my sister asked me to be her maid of honor, then publicly humiliated me and sat me at the kids' table. My sister is 34. Her husband is 36. They got married 3 months ago. I'm 30, and she made me her maid of honor. I was thrilled at first. I thought helping her plan the wedding would bring us closer. I took on most of the planning because I was unemployed at the time and she's a full-time doctor. She didn't hire a wedding planner. I was the planner. Every detail, from dress fittings to venue negotiations, was on me. And during that time, she treated me like a personal servant. She spoke down to me, made demands, and barked orders like I was staff. The stress was insane, but I kept going. I thought maybe she was just overwhelmed. What hurt the most? She refused to invite my fiancé. We've been together for 12 years. Meanwhile, all our siblings' partners, who've been around 2 to 3 years, were invited. Even her own fiancé at the time had only been dating her for a year before proposing. Her excuse? She didn't want people asking about our own wedding. Our relatives had been asking for years when we were getting married, and she didn't want to deal with that on her day. I told her I wouldn't help with anything else unless she apologized and invited my fiancé. She never did either. No apology. No thank you for all the work I'd done. On the wedding day, everything seemed fine. The ceremony was beautiful. The couple looked happy. I was genuinely glad for her. But when we got to the reception, that's when I saw it. My fiancé and I had been placed at the very last table, next to the kitchen, far from the main family tables. I thought it had to be a mistake. I asked her about it. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "It's not a mistake. That's where you belong." We were seated at the kids' table, surrounded by children aged 7 to 14. My fiancé didn't say anything. She gave them a look that basically said, "Don't even try." I didn't make a scene. I just sat with him quietly for the rest of the night. I didn't give my maid of honor speech. My parents noticed and were upset. My brothers? They didn't even try to talk to me. But when they heard I wasn't doing the speech, they came over to lecture me. They told me I was ruining her day. That I needed to understand the pressure she was under. That she's only getting married once. That I was selfish. All while I was sitting at a table next to the kitchen. With toddlers. After dinner, my fiancé and I went to McDonald's. I posted a story of our burgers with the caption "Post-wedding dinner." I waited until after the reception was over to post it so no one could say I stormed out. Didn't matter. My siblings blew up. Said I embarrassed the family. That the post was a petty attack on the bride. My sister defended herself, saying I deserved it. She gave 3 reasons. I didn't execute the wedding the way she envisioned. I looked too good. I needed to be punished for insisting on bringing my fiancé. She also said she forbade me from getting married before her. Because she's the older sister. And I actually agreed to that, just to avoid drama. We delayed our engagement and wedding so she could have her moment. Not anymore. Our wedding is going to be abroad. Intimate. Private. Just our parents and a few close friends. We're paying for it ourselves, and I refuse to spend a dime on people who treat me like an afterthought. Extended family says I'm being immature, that I should forgive and move on. But where were they when I was being humiliated in front of everyone? They didn't say a word. Now they're shocked I'm returning the energy? Please. After the wedding abroad, we'll host a small family lunch back home. Around 80 people total. Our parents are organizing it and handling the guest list. If my siblings show up, fine. They'll be seated at the far end of a long winding table near the restrooms. Exactly how they did me. They'll all sit together. I won't even look their way. My fiancé and I, his brothers, and our parents will be at the center. We'll cut the cake, have the father-daughter dance, and share the good stuff with people who actually care. As for my sister, she won't be maid of honor. She may get a polite invitation to the lunch, but she'll be seated far from us. And here's the kicker, she's pregnant. Due in June. That's the month we picked for our wedding. Oh well. If she shows up with a newborn, she'll be put at the kids' table. And kindly asked to step outside if the baby starts crying. This is our day. Our joy. And for once, we're doing it our way. I'm not angry anymore. Just done. She hurt me too many times to count. My childhood? She bullied me over my epilepsy. Called me a burden. Dumped my makeup down the sink once because I touched her towel. She used to tell boys I wasn't worth their time. Said I had a low IQ even though I'm a licensed architect with a master's degree. She once stole the church I'd booked for my dream wedding. That's when my fiancé said, let's get married somewhere she can't touch. So we are. On a beach. With people who love us. And she can stay home and stew. Thanks to everyone who reminded me I'm not crazy. That my feelings are valid. And that I deserve joy. I'm finally choosing peace over guilt.